Hello everybody and welcome to my deck spotlight for Zoo. Now, when I did my D-Lock deck spotlight, a lot of you seemed to enjoy the deck, but you had some concerns that it was too expensive for your taste. And I totally understand that. Getting early into the game, it's very hard to get a lot of the cards, so I tried my best to make a D-Lock welfare deck, and it does work alright. It got me to about rank 14 in the season, but I've been playing probably 200 games to get there. So it's really a very high coin flip deck, and you don't have Alexstrasza or Lord Jax to rely on in case you get overwhelmed, and that's something that you really need in the handlock deck. But this is the deck I made. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't think it's viable enough to make a whole video about it. So what I did want to show you is another cheap Warlock deck that works very well. If you aren't familiar with a lot of the meta strategies in Hearthstone, you might not know about Zoo, but Zoo's probably one of the more popular decks simply because it's so cheap and so useful. Now, I have my own Zoo deck, but it has a few legendaries in it, so I wanted to make the cheap bare bones ones and show you guys some of the cards you might want to put in if you got a little bit more money. So we're going to click here, and essentially what this deck is, it's an aggro board control deck. What you do, you try and get board control early on, and you try and kill the guy early on. If it gets to late game, this is where this deck falls off. You have to kill him by hopefully turn 6 or 7, or they're going to start doing some 8 drops, and you're really going to get overwhelmed with this deck, usually. It's a great deck if you want to quickly go down the rankings. This is the deck I go to at the starting of seasons when I start at 25 and I want to get down to what I'm normally going to, which is like 12 or 11. I'm not great at constructed, but I definitely think I'm okay. So what do we have in this deck? We got Soulfire. Pretty much as I stated before, it's a staple card in any Warlock deck, really. I don't see why you wouldn't use it. You discard a random card, but you have so much card draw in a Warlock deck, you don't really care about losing a card or two. Mortal Coil, again, a great spell card at the start, gets rid of a lot of starting cards, and also gives you card draw if you need it. Argent Squire, just a great starting card to drop down. It basically is almost guaranteed to survive the first round, so you're at least going to have 1 damage to possibly get rid of another creature, or just hit him into the face. I mean, any damage counts. Also, you might want to consider putting in Blood Knight in this deck, because with the Argent Squares, I've utilized it a lot. All minions with loose Divine Shield and gain +3/+3. If your enemy throws out a minion with Divine Shield, because a lot of people use Argent Squire, it's a very popular starting card, and then use an Argent Squire. This is going to be a 9/9 turn 3. Obviously, you have to get very lucky with that, but even if you don't utilize it for that Divine Shield utilization, it's still a 3/3 for 3, so it's not an awful card to begin with. But yeah, that's definitely a card you might want to think about if you want to, combine this deck to your own liking. I'm not going to put it in here because I think it's too utility based. It's not going to always be used, so you don't really need it. In this deck, you want to have every card in your hand useful all the time. That's what's important about this deck. It's a early game board control. Now we got Flame Imp, just a great 1-drop. Obviously, if you're a Warlock, this is one of the best 1-drops in the game. 3/2. It does usually die in a turn or two, but it's really, even if it dies, you're getting rid of some of those spells that are going to kill your other cards anyway. So it's just a great threat to put on the board early game. Shield Bearer, a great 1-drop. Basically, Raynad really made this card popular. A lot of people overlooked it and said, well, it's essentially a wall, who cares? But if you can put 1 buff on this card, did I just get rid of 1? No, I didn't. Okay. If you can put 1 buff on this card, which is what Shattered Sun Cleric is in here for, essentially, it becomes a 1/5, and that is a threat early game, a very huge threat, because there is so many cards that are, 1 health, or 2 health, and you can use like something like Mortal Coil as well. It's just, after playing with this deck for so long, you really don't realize how useful early taunt creatures are, especially with such a aggressive deck like Zoo, when you're taking so much damage just from yourself. Then we got Voidwalker, which is essentially a shield bearer, but it's a 1/3. Just another great taunt creature. Again, you want to have board control. You want to have some defense up to keep your heavy hitters, like your Flame Imp, from dying right away. Young Priestess as well. You can put it on your shield bearer. I mean, you just throw it on the shield. Usually, I wait until it taunts up to throw it on the field, because this is obviously it's a big threat. It's constantly putting health on all your creatures, not all your creatures, but it's putting 1 health each turn. Early game, that's a huge threat. Direwolf Alpha, pretty much, don't really need to explain what this does. Jason Minions have +1 attack, it's great If you're trying to go for the kill, it's great if you just want to buff your minions, and it's great to buff your shield bearer again as well. And you can hide this behind your shield bearer. It's just, there's so much usefulness to this deck. Now, Knife Juggler, don't need to explain this card. It's an RNG god. Throw it on the board turn 2. Especially with this deck, when you have so many low mana creatures, you're just going to keep throwing knives and keep throwing knives if you can keep it on the board. Harvest Golem, a great board control card. Basically, it's a 2/3 with a 2/1 as well for 3 mana. Probably the best 3-drop, I would say. Even if it dies, another 2/1 comes out for 3. I mean, it's just such a pain to get rid of. It's kind of annoying. It only has 2 damage, but I think you can get over that. Scarlet Crusader, just a great card. Again, it gets rid of spells, and it also does 3 damage to whoever it hits, unless it gets something like Polymorphed. But that's always good, too, because you're essentially wasting a Polymorph on a 3-mana card. Shattered Sun, I already talked about it. It's to buff things like Shield Bearer. It's to buff anyone, really. It depends on the situation. Defender of Argus, same thing. Again, more taunt, more board control, great thing. Doomguard, pretty much the staple of this deck, the killing blow of this deck, if you will. Sometimes I throw it out turn 5, sometimes I wait to have kill. I don't want to threaten the enemy into healing or something, so I'll keep it in my hand. And it does discard 2 random cards, but again, you're a Warlock, and usually by the time this comes out, you don't have much in your hand anyways. Again, it's 5 mana. By the time you get to the 5 mana tier, you should only have 2 or 3 cards in your hand because you are playing so aggressively. Then we have Argent Commander. I don't know if I like him totally in this deck. I don't have him in my actual Zoo deck, but it is a great card. You cannot deny that. It's a Charged Divine Shield. Any card with Charge and Divine basically guarantees you that you're going to utilize it for a kill when you're putting it on the board. If you're not utilizing it for a kill, you're probably not playing it correctly unless you're trying to be totally aggressive. So that's the gist of what this deck is all about. It's a very simple deck. You don't really need to understand much. A little bit of how your opponent plays is definitely helpful. A little understanding of the game, but I highly suggest this deck as a first deck. It's a little over 1,000 dust to create, so it's a dirt cheap deck as well. Just a great deck overall, and a very annoying deck to deal with, especially if you're a late board control type class like Druid or something. But yeah, we're going to do some games here. I'll show you how it's played. It's very simple, very easy, so let's get into it. I almost forgot before going into the gameplay, I do want to show you, if you do have some extra money, how to increase this deck with a few legendaries. So obviously Leroy Jenkins is a huge help. It's a charge 4 mana 6/2, essentially a killing blow card. Just keep it in your hand until you have killing blow. Unless you can get rid of the whelps, then you can throw this on the board, and then if they don't have anything on the board, then it's a huge threat to deal with as well. Also, another one you might want to think about is King Mukla. It's a 3 mana 5/5, and you give your opponent 2 bananas. If you don't know what bananas do, they're a +1/+1 for 0 mana, so it can hit you in the late game, but putting it on the board very early, it's very hard to deal with. I can't really say much about it because I don't own it, but I do think it would be somewhat useful in this deck. And then, of course, Millhouse Manastorm. It's a very risky play, but a very, very hard card to deal with in the right decks. It's a 2 mana 4/4. Enemy spells cost 0 next turn. Obviously, you don't want to be doing this with something like Rogue, especially with so many Rogues around right now. And a few other classes as well, but overall, it's a decent card. I probably wouldn't put it in my deck because it's too, it's too risky for me. I like to play it safe. But yeah, we're going to get into some gameplay now, so let's do it. Alright, so we're playing a mage. There really shouldn't be any huge issues with the mage. Might be a lot of phrases and whatnot that might prolong the game, but besides that, I mean, Polymorph is not going to be a huge threat, especially with a deck that has so many small minions. I'm going to keep my Mortal Coil. I don't know why, but I'm going to keep it. Do I want to keep my Scarlet Crusader? Yeah, I don't. Chances are I'm going to get a 2-drop or a 1-drop, just like I thought. And Scarlet Crusader, you kind of want to plan ahead of time in this deck. You don't want to just have all 1-drops, because you're going to get a lot of them as you're grabbing them as well. In this situation, I'm going to drop my Flame Imp. Put a presence on the board, and hopefully it doesn't die. Now he's going to have his Mana Worm. That's actually perfectly fine for me. I don't know why he would even throw that out. I'm going to throw out my taunt, hit him, And he's going to be able to fireball it, but at least I got rid of his mana worm and wasted his next turn. See, people don't really seem to realize that. It still costs 2 mana. So if you're making him use his fireball, it's just as useful. And he's probably going to do that right now. And then... No, he's looking at it. There we go. There it comes. Wasted the turn. And now I'm just 1 turn ahead of him. So I can throw out my Scarlet Crusader now. Or my Knife Juggler. Look at that. That's useful too. Actually, I'm going to throw out my Knife Juggler. Next turn I can throw out my Scarlet. Hopefully I can get a lucky hit. Does just as much damage as the Scarlet, so why wouldn't you? It only makes sense. Now, what's he thinking? I am in somewhat of a high tier ranking right now. I'm only ranked 14 in the season. I've been doing exams and everything, so I haven't been really having time to go down in the rankings too much. But I find still, even at this level, you come with some constructed decks, you come with some real noob characters as well that get lucky and get down this low. Usually I'm around a 6 to 8 ranked person. Not too great at constructed, but I think I'm somewhat alright. I'd like to think anyways. But this guy is taking way too long to think. Okay, so you're going to do 3 damage and freeze it. Why did that take so long to think of? If there's a Knife Juggler behind a taunt, it should be a no-brainer that you want to do that right away. That's my biggest pet peeve about this game, is that people just take way too long to do what they want to do. Now, I could have did my Defender there, but really I want to utilize both those +1/+1s, especially when he's got nothing on the board. I also don't want to put too much on the board because there is a threat of Flame Strike, so I'm going to be playing this a little slower than how I usually play it. But I'm just going to end my turn. I could also Soulfire his face if I wanted to, but honestly, I don't really see the point in that right now. I seriously wish there was like a speed mode in this game that gave people 5 to 10 seconds to do their turn, because it's just taking way too long. Now, he tried to get rid of that because he's going to fireball it again, but he's going to see that he can't do that because I have this out. There you go. Now try and deal with that, my friend. Yeah, I'm still going to... I'm going to keep around 3 cards out, usually, especially with fighting a mage. Oh, what's coming in? What's coming in? Come on. What are you going to do? Oh, he's fire blasting. I don't know why it came from over there. I gotta love these weird glitches. Wow, what is this? Is this guy doing a Frost Giant deck, maybe? I've never seen such a slow-playing mage as of recent. I haven't seen any mages as of recent, let alone slow-playing mage. Maybe I should be more aggressive then. Try and get the win before turn 7. I'm going to actually just keep buffing this guy. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's be aggressive. He's playing really weird as a mage. I'm not totally worried about the Flame Strike. I'm just gonna go for the win. I should 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have kill next turn unless he... Oh, fuck. Here it comes. Here it comes. Ah! I forgot about the damn freaking ring thing. Oh, man. That hurt. But that's alright. That's no big deal. We can still get this. Actually, I'm going to put out the Dire on this guy. Why not? Still keep the threat up. I only need to get... Well, I have 4 damage. I have 8 damage, so I only need 2 damage next turn to win. Yeah, and I'll have 8 mana as well. So if he doesn't get rid of one of these guys... Oh, crap. He's going to get rid of that guy. Still not a big deal. I really... Unless he gets a lot of taunts up or somehow heals... Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, man, this is going really well. I'm just going to keep going for the face right now. I'm actually even going to take the hit. I'm going to take the card just in case I can get maybe 2 Soulfires or something. Just in case he somehow... I mean, there's no way he can win right now because I have an Argent Commander and a Soulfire. He's going to polymorph that. That's okay. I only need to get 6 damage next turn, and I have 8 in my hand. So I basically have win, unless he taunts this chill win. Oh, he can. Alright, it's GG. He ran out of mana. So, well played. And that's how you play this deck. As I stated, you want to get win around turn 7 or 8. Before any huge threat comes out. I did do a mistake with that Flame Strike, but as I stated, I acknowledged that I could possibly get hit by the Flame Strike. He was just playing really weird. And that's what you got to realize when you're this high in the tiers. People are going to play somewhat not as the normal people would play. Okay, so we got a win. We got, ooh, look at that, 10 gold. How convenient. Oh, look at that. We got 3 victories as well. Oh my god. Oh, got so much gold. Sweet. Okay, next game. Let's do it. Oh god, thank god, something different. Basically 3 times in a row now I've played Safari Hunter. And that's one deck that this deck has a weakness to. It's pretty much, well, not impossible, I won't say that at all. But you have to play it totally differently, and it's just very annoying to deal with. I might even want to keep that Doomguard just to have it. You don't want to let a paladin get board control, that's the thing, so I don't want to go that high. I think I'm going to keep the Harvest Golem. Anyways, I'm playing a lot of Safari Hunters. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially a very cheap, aggression-based hunter deck. I don't actually play it too much, so I don't know much about it, but I do know that it's just... It's something like 300 dust, not 300, no, what am I saying, 300? It's something like 700 dust, and, to make the whole deck, and it's pretty much like Zoo, a very annoying deck to deal with. Oh god, more secrets. I haven't played in so long that I forget what each secret does, but I'm just going to hit him in the face and see what it does. That didn't do anything. I'm trying to remember what could it possibly be. Interesting. Possibly a spell? Yeah, well, it has to be a spell lock. There's nothing else I don't remember. I haven't played... Again, Paladin hasn't been a popular option in the last 2 seasons, probably? So, it's kind of weird to see them. Oh, it might be when I attack... Yeah, it's got to be when I attack a minion. I should really know what he has, but... Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Oh, it's gonna... Okay, now I remember. It comes back with 1 health. That's great. Okay, I'll take that. And we will hit that. And then I'll throw out my Harvest Golem. Alright, that went better than I expected, considering I didn't know which secret he would have. So you're gonna coin up. Chill One Yeti. That's a good coin to use, I guess. But I do have a Soulfire and a 1/1 that I could get rid of. That's probably what I'll be doing in this situation. Or I could just... No, I can't do that. I don't want to waste this Defender Vargas, so I'm going to throw that out first. If I lose my Argent Commander, in my personal opinion, it's not that useful. So I'm just going to lose it. And, of course, I get lucky and lose it, but I would much rather lose a Shield Bearer. But, hey, that's pretty much all that's been happening to me, is just I've been getting no luck in terms of RNG. True Silver Champion, that's... Oh, man, I didn't even think about the True Silver Champion. Not a big deal, though. At least I got rid of one of its uses. And if he's going to waste another use on one of these, that would be hilarious. Actually, I might even throw down my Shield Bearer. He might even waste... Yeah, he's probably gonna. I'm thinking he would. Let's see what I get, though. Knife Juggler. Ooh, great. Alright, so I'm going to Knife Juggler, Shield Bearer, and be a little aggressive. Now, I'm praying that he wastes this on the Shield Bearer, because that would be perfect. That is what Shield Bearer is for, to get rid of such a great weapon. The True Silver is just, it's arguably overpowered. I mean, you see, you get health. It only costs 4 mana for a 4/2. It's just ridiculous. Oh man, look at this. Now he's going to summon a dude. And he's not even going to use his True Silver. Interesting. So what he wants to do is... What is it? What does he want to do? He's not going to get this dude to attack this. That's for damn sure. I don't know what he's thinking right now. It's all good, though. I'm actually going to just throw down the board. Just keep this aggression up. There we go. Got rid of it. That's what I wanted to do. I'm just going to keep that Soulfire in my hand in case he throws out anything huge. We are getting into the 6-7 mana territory, so that's a little threatening. But I don't know how he's going to deal with this Shield Bearer. Again, I haven't played Paladin in so long. I haven't played against Paladin in so long. It's like, I don't remember. Oh, Consecration. I forgot about Consecration. Totally skimmed my head. Did not even think about Consecration. And that's simply because Paladin hasn't been viable in a long time. So it's been like, not even in my head what spells he has. Another bad play on my part. I apologize. Oh, man. Worst 2 cards to have in your hand ever. I could take the card draw and hope I get really lucky with my Soulfire. But RNG has just not been in my favor, so I'm going to throw out the Doomguard. Keep this aggression up. Losing a Soulfire isn't a huge deal. I'm actually going to take the card draw as well because I don't really feel very worried. Oh, I have an Argent Commander as well. This is looking like it could very much be the win for me that I need. I haven't been doing too well with this deck, honestly. Zoo's a great deck, there's no denying that. But it's such a popular deck as well. A lot of people know what's to be expected with it. And it's not, at least in these days, an overly overpowered deck. In the past, I would argue that it was. What is he doing? I guess he really has no option. Does he really think he's... Oh, is he... Okay, I think he's just kind of playing around. Don't really, yeah. Okay, well played. So, that was the second win for my Zoo deck. Actually, that went very smoothly considering how bad I play with that Consecration. That was just embarrassing. But yeah, guys, that was Zoo in a nutshell. It's a great starter deck. I highly suggest it if you are just getting into Hearthstone and don't have much cards to deal with. You can obviously upgrade the deck. I'll actually show you my version of Zoo deck, which I've been just tweaking with. I have a few different things, like I have Power Overwhelming in here and 2 Abusive Surgeons. Don't really remember what I changed from. I'm also using a Blood Knight just because there's a lot of, like the Argent Squire and whatnot. Just, you can really get lucky with your Blood Knight, but it is a luck-based card. I also have an Armani Berserker, evidently. I don't even remember putting those in. Again, I tend to take a very popular deck and then stream it into what I enjoy. This seems to work great. I really suggest this deck more than the Zoo deck that I showed you. But obviously, this deck's a bit more expensive. So maybe you can work up towards this deck via starting with the early Zoo deck. But yeah, that was a cheap deck for you guys. A very cheap and a very viable deck. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.